Alright Mum, we're back with the community quilt. We finally have a new cutting mat. Yay, this one comes from Echidna Sewing and it's the A1. It has inches on one side, it's actually, I got the small version too, inches on one side, centimetres on the other. So this is for smaller projects or when everything's a hot mess and I can't find what I'm looking for. Right, because we had to redo this area, we've also been able to play with the stand a little bit and get a different view. So let's see if this works. It is slightly precariously perched, but honestly, would it be a project of mine if that wasn't the case? Alright, we've made broken dishes before. I can't remember if it was very successful. Here's all our fabric that we're going to use. Let's piece them on the woolen mat and try and figure it out. What are we doing? Okay. Oh yeah, I remember this one. This is Ursula came to visit a few times on this one. And I already did that wrong. That's right. That goes like did it wrong several times. Now I have music playing relatively close to me today. We will see if that gets too much in the playback. And if it does, I won't do it again. And if it doesn't, I will do it again. And if we're not sure, I will do it again. Alright, we know that works. Now we have to do the same thing with these ones. I'm also using a different sewing machine today because my M8 is on the cutie frame, so I've had to pull out the memory craft and it is without a foot pedal. I know I have a foot pedal, I just don't know where I put the foot pedal. So nope, that's gonna go this way. So we're gonna sew with cruise control while I slowly, non-systematically pull everything out of my room to remember the safe place I put this pedal. It's so messy, this one. Okay. Yes. All right. I remember this. This is one of our first of our triangles. If I recall correctly, this didn't fit and I had to cut these. Do I think that's going to happen again? Yeah, I do. I don't know what the problem is. It's probably me, but I think it's going to happen again. So we are going to sew these together first. We don't need to do the whole thing on camera, so I will be back once I have sewed some stuff together. Alright, I haven't gotten very far and Ursula has already made an appearance because I am using a different machine than I normally use and that we have been using for this quilt, and you still have the potential to do this, Mum, because you have two machines as well. It's a bit of a wonky thing, but we're fine. The memory craft relies on the foot to give you a 1/4 inch rather than the M8, which moves the needle to a 1/4 inch position. When I do a standard, just the normal straight stitch on that foot, I don't get a 1/4 inch. I get a much bigger seam, which also tells me that every quilt I've made up until now has got a bigger than a 1/4 inch seam. So I have moved my needle over to 3.8 and that has given me a 1/4 inch. So I am going to do these on that size now, and I'm gonna just have to remember and put a little note on this machine that I need to move it over to 3.8. all right, they're all sewed now. I have to sew them together. It's going together nicely. I'm getting used to my machine again. Still really would like to know where my foot is, so if anyone has any suggestions or all right, for reasons unknown to me other than I probably haven't used it enough lately, my memory craft is being a pain in the butt. So that took a hell of a lot longer than expected. required Ursula, required cleaning the machine and resetting it. But we got through 4, so hopefully we're good now. Now I'll put these back. I've no idea if this is the direction they were going in, but that's the direction they're going in now. Okay, what's next? We've done that. Okay, so now this is the pattern. So I'm missing some scissors. I'm all out of whack. All right. Yep. Now, remember that you don't sew edge to edge. You sew in the middle of these. How do I want to do this given that situation? All right, I'm going to be lazy and I'm just lining it up on the corner here. Because at this point, I don't really have a lot of faith in this block working out because I just chewed the corners of all of these on the machine. All right, so that's gonna go there. Yep, we're gonna do one at a time. That's gonna go here. We can always pin this one. So you can see pink to pink, like that's just gonna go straight through. Gotta remember that the tips of triangles are not the same. And then this one can go, and I'm just going to go with the corner of this one because that's nice and easy. Alright, let's see if I can get through this without the machine stopping. I will be back if sewing occurs, and if sewing doesn't occur, I'm going to go get a drink. Alright, I feel no one is more surprised than me to say the sewing did occur. So 1, 2, and 3 are done. So now we're going to pin. This one's relatively easy. And slightly the wrong size, but I think that we can make that work. Go with that. Alright. I'll be back when this is sewn. Hopefully we have no catastrophes while we're there. Alright, again, no one more surprised than me that we had stitching and it worked. Alright, so what's left to do? We're going to do this one to this one. Nice and simple. It's a bit wonky, and the middle is Amazon fabric, so that's not going to be great. Alright, I will be back with that. And then we only have the outsides. Okay, now this guy goes in. I should find the midpoints, but I'm just lining up with that one. Alright, then this one goes to this one. So I'll just do the triangle that's in the background instead of finding my midpoints. Is this correct? No, but will I do it anyway? You sure will. I'm going to do this one as well. And then it'll just be the last two. Alright, I'll be back when those three are done. Alright, we had some more sewing drama. I do not think I will be sewing any block of the months until this machine is happy again. But we'll see how we go. Alright, so 1, 2, and 3. Alright, we are ready to pin these and hope for the best. Look, it's not the worst, but given it's cut on the bias and it's absolutely prone to stretching. Ow, I don't know why you would cut this on the bias. It just seems like an unnecessary center drama. I also just pricked myself in the finger. Alright. Let's sew that and hope for the best. Oh my god, got some bunching there. Alright, let's see how we go. Alright, look, not the worst. Really don't know why you want to cut that on the bias, but anyway. Alright, we're going to attach this, line it up, hope for the best. Let's see how we go. It's my iron in the background turning itself off. I do like an iron with a safety feature because I am known to get distracted and start a side quest and forget about it. Alright, I think this went together. Probably should have pinned this from the other side. But we haven't, so we're going to roll with it. I think this went together better than the last one. Alright, I'll be back. Okay, there we go, broken dishes. So that went together better than the last one. A few sewing issues, but I think as I just start using that machine again, they'll settle down, hopefully. Alright, now that was my roll from a while ago, so, and we're behind, and so I already know that our next one is going to be block 20, the Lemoine, I don't know, the Star, because Mum's already rolled that. So Mum, I'll see you for this one. This is kind of cute. There's a lot of steps in this one. I think we're doing pinwheels. Yeah, we're doing pinwheels, so that'll be fun. All right, let's see you back for this one next time. Bye.